Good evening and welcome to the Business Day. I'm Vashan Brown. The Jamaican dollar slipped to a new low today. The greenback sold for as much as $144, but at the end of the day, its average price was $135.58, its highest ever. Meanwhile, the Canadian dollar is costing $105.06. The pound sterling is going for $173.24, while the euro sells for $156.40. There are well over 100 printer companies in Jamaica, but manufacturers still complain that there aren't enough companies who can print their labels at the quality and quantity they require. Consequently, they're being forced to print their labels overseas, which they claim is cheaper than using local firms. TVJ's Andrew Lately reports.
Every prepackaged food item on the local market requires a label. It's usually the printed sticker on the product you buy. Manufacturers use it to capture customers' attention, but it doesn't come cheap. And manufacturers argue that it's less expensive to do their labels overseas. Vice President of the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association, JMEA, Stephen Dawkins, says that's why most manufacturers use that option.
Label developments can be done locally as well as it can be done overseas. Of course, we would have preferred it to be done locally. But for usually economies of scale, they tend to do labels overseas because it's usually cheaper, quicker, and I don't know if it's unfortunately, but the quality that comes out overseas is usually sometimes better.
Mr. Dawkins explains that local printers are usually the preferred option, but he notes that they just don't have what it takes to produce the quality and quantity manufacturers want.
The ideal situation is to have companies or manufacturers fully integrated in where you have all lines of your production fully integrated in the company, which includes the labels and so on. But like I said, it is such a specialization, so it's very difficult and very, very few companies do it here in Jamaica. We have companies that do it, but for larger companies, they tend to go overseas for their labels. We hope that sometime in the future, local manufacturers can become far more equipped to manage the levels of labels that are required.
In the meantime, he admits that he's not sure of how much money is spent printing labels overseas, but he notes that in some instances, manufacturers who go overseas get more value for money.
It's very difficult to say how much money, but it's more of what a company is gaining on going overseas more than what I would say losing. Like I said before, unfortunately, we have to go to markets where the efficiency and cost of labels are more cost effective, if you would want to put it that way. So I wouldn't be able to tell you what is it that we are losing, but certainly it's what the company will save in terms of making labels overseas.
For the Business Day, I'm Andrew Lately.
Manufacturers along Spanish Town Road in the corporate area are still reeling from the negative effects of the recent fire at the Riverton dump. The fire, believed to be the work of arsonists, started on July 29. President of the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association, Metro Siaga, spoke with the Business Day earlier today about the issue.
Yeah, the companies that are close by have expressed that it is a nuisance. It's creating havoc for their workers. I myself drove through it on the weekend, and it still is a major problem, and we need to get it under control as quickly as possible. It will have an effect on productivity, and some companies are having to close early because of it, and some companies are having people losing employees because of alcohol-related problems. So, yeah, it does create some issues. Nothing that I can quantify at this point.
In the meantime, Kingston Freeport Terminal Limited reportedly lost $200,000 in revenue due to disruptions in its operations caused by the smoke from the Riverton City disposal site in St. Andrew. Minister without portfolio and the Minister of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Carl Samuda, says this was the accumulated loss last week. Oil prices settled higher today. Oil for delivery in September is up 26 cents to settle at $69.17 a barrel. The JC Index gained 323 points today, while the Junior Index also gained 20 points. Among the winners today were Berger Paints, Cargo Handlers, Express Catering, General Accident Insurance, Jamaica Stock Exchange, Knutsford Express Services, Lasco Manufacturing, Mayberry Investments. On the losing side were 1834 Investments, Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances, Dermond Trading, Elite Diagnostic, Everything Fresh, G West Corporation, and Honeybun. And that's the Business Day. I'm Vashan Brown. Good evening.